Look at the TL G2 VoD. Second round of games against each other. It's a huge game for TL. It was big for G2 also because I think they still had a chance at second at this point. I might be wrong actually. Um, Either way though, there's a lot of I think pride going into this game. And G2, I think momentum wise, probably something they really want to win. They lost to Fongfu earlier in the day at this point. Team Liquid lost to SKT earlier in the day. But if TL wins this game, they're locked in. So, I mean, it's a pretty big game. So I thought this draft was kind of weird from G2. It was a little bit odd in the sense that there's not a lot of their power on the other side. Like, I don't think Corky's really powerful right now. And even though it's on caps, I don't see him being able to outplay that unless it gets way ahead. Like his late game's really good. It's kind of a weird meta for Corky, even if he seems really good. They did get Tom Ezreal bot, but again, Ezreal. I mean, we've saw one of the best Ezreals in the world play it twice this tournament. Didn't go well. Now the team didn't play real well for SKT, but Teddy's so amazing in Ezreal. But I think this in this meta right now, he's not really that big of a pick. Rek'Sai's a huge pick. Aurelia top has been hit or miss, and especially into Vlad. Like if you're gonna let Vlad through on there, I don't know. Vlad's dangerous, and I'm not a huge fan of impact on mages. I've said that quite a few times. He's pretty much told me to shut my mouth and just watch the tournament because he's been phenomenal this whole entire tournament. He's definitely been the most consistent player for Team Liquid. So I think that's where that kind of comes up. I just look at it like mages top aren't Impact's kind of style. Impact's kind of style has always been like this team focused, not lose lane, be where he's supposed to be at all times, always making good decisions as far as the macro of the game goes, just knowing the game really well and being solid in his job. I think that gets undercut a lot in esports in general. Like it just seems like people can only say like this guy's really really good or he's really really bad. Like there's no just solid professionals, and I think League of Legends has been around long enough where there's plenty of solid professionals. Just a solid professional player. I think Impact falls into that category. I don't think anybody would put them on their top, 5 top laners or 10 top laners of all time. Even there's just so much talent up there. But as far as being a solid professional, I think he's somebody that teams would want. But yeah, I've been a little harsh on his mage play. I felt like he wasn't that comfortable on it, but he's been phenomenal on it this whole entire tournament. I thought this was an odd draft by G2. I don't know if they're a little too cocky or a little too pumped up, but this didn't seem like something that was going to help them really give them a huge advantage going into the game pick wise. We all know how important pick ban is, so. Especially with teleport. At least Caps gave us Corky. Maybe one of the best skins in the game. That's good. That's good stuff. It's interesting here that they're going to set this up because with this comp, it's going to be really important for someone like Yankos to get into these lanes early. Like you got to get to Vlad early. Getting into LeBlanc early is really important. Bot lane, I think it's fine. Ezreal shouldn't be under too much pressure with Tom there. It's very safe. But he needs to get into this lane really early. Definitely why he's starting bot side. But But that's not real aggressive warding for that. Impact's pretty safe because of this right here, and that he's on Vladimir, and by the time he gets up there, he's going to be level 2, maybe level 3 even, but he's definitely going to have pool, so he's fairly ungankable in that situation. It's just bad trades for Corki early. No defensive summoner either. Fleet Footwork will help him sustain a little bit, but it's LeBlanc. She gets slightly ahead. You're just going to get massacred. They've been pretty pushed and bought, which is fairly expected. Especially with Ezreal. It's pretty slow to get control. And we got the flash out of him. I'm surprised Jankos didn't try and flash for that. Flash for flash, maybe. But they got it anyway, so didn't matter. Maybe that's what Jensen flashed. He thought it was going to happen. That was a good stop. It really messes up Caps right there. I mean, he wants to get back, get something, get back to lane with her flash down and get ready to gank. It's interesting. Like if your Caps there, I mean, it's a nice play by them. Like it's already set up, but if she stopped your back and she's hanging around in lane, like even if Jankos is here right now, I don't see how you get out of this without dying with her. She has Ignite also. You don't have a defensive summoner. You still have Flash up, but I mean, she's going to get enough damage on you to Ignite and kill you. And Jankos can't really stop that. So at best it's a 1-for-1 trade, but they're probably going to get first blood out of it. And then it really goes bad because Smithy's obviously right here. You couldn't know that, but there's really no positive. There's no positive to that trade for Caps at all. I don't see how that comes out positive for him in any stretch of the imagination. No matter what happens there, either one of those situations, even if Smithy's not there, Cap still dies. TL's got a good deep ward down here. That'll protect them bot pretty much. And Jensen almost gave it right back. I can't really dive her. I mean, I guess I could. They both have flash right there. So, yeah, this is just interesting. There's no way for Caps to win this trade. Like, he dies either way. Smithy gets the kill, but I don't think he needed to. If Jensen knows Smithy's not there, he just stays and makes sure he gets the damage because it's going to be a 1-for-1 anyways. But as long as he gets the first blood, he gets an advantage. And I think in that situation, for a LeBlanc, that's a better situation for her coming back to lane with a kill than it is. She doesn't really mind that Corki has one too. Her burst is way better. She's much harder to gank and lock down in a 2v1, especially from a Rek'Sai. Just has the knock-up. Still has flash though, so Jensen doesn't. He can't really use W at all in this lane, so unless he knows exactly where Jankos is. That's interesting. G2 doesn't have any wards on an Infernal Drake right now, and Team Liquid doesn't need much time with these three to take out an Infernal Drake. Or these three, I guess. With Kaisa, Jarvan and Galio, even if Jensen comes down to just play defense and doesn't do any damage to it. Kai'Sa does pretty good damage to objectives early with her proc. Well, neutral objectives. They still don't have any wards on it, so yeah, they're just setting up for Dragon. Now they have full control of it too, because they just have full ward lines everywhere. Get rid of that pink. Wow, that's vision domination down here. That's how they're going to set up that dragon. And Pack's only down 6 farm early as Vlad. That's completely fine. You don't really care about that stuff. You just want Vlad to get to CDR cap. Take blue. We see this lane a lot, the kind of Ezreal Tom. The Ezreal Tom lane. It became really popular for a while there during the spring split in a lot of different regions. It was probably most effective in Korea, where they probably have the most amount of really good Ezreal players there, because it's just super safe, but that's a really good gank. Oh, he still had flash too. That's pretty bold to him. But this is what that vision does down here. This is what that vision sets up for them. There's no way for Caps to know anything that's going on in here. He has no idea where Jarvan is. Gets him a free dragon. I mean, they could have got dragon pretty much at any point. There's not much G2 could have done about that at any point during that. So see if they get a longer replay of that, how that trade started. Nice play by Team Liquid, but again, it seems like just kind of a mental error from Caps there. I mean, he still had flash. Yeah, so he has no idea where Jarvan is. Caps has no idea where Jarvan is, but he knows he's not right here. So, I mean, he's got to know he's dragon side. I mean, they've invested so much time in vision down here, taking blue. They took out all their wards across this line. They've been pressing up. Yankos isn't mid, and he's backing right now. Like, Caps right now, when he gets chained, like, he has to know something's up. There's no reason for Jensen to trade under tower like this. Yeah, like, you got to flash out of it. He still could have flashed. Oh, no, he's rooted at this point, so it's over. But you got to flash that root. Like, he's got to know that. And then this is just pretty academic right here. I mean, there's nothing he can do about it. It's 100% going to kill him. Just a minor mistake from Caps, but still surprising to see him making those. I mean, he knows better. Especially on Corki. You know, you can't get that far behind in lane on Corki. You're going to be pretty ineffective going forward in the game. Yeah, they have good scaling, but I mean, so does Team Liquid. I mean, Aurelia doesn't outscale Vlad on an even plane by any stretch of the imagination. If there are even items at say 3 items or 2 items, say 2 items even, I mean, Aurelia doesn't outscale Vlad. 3 items definitely, and then everything after that, Vlad's just he's out of control. So, I mean, G2's not going to outscale them at any point in this game. Kai'Sa's not going to get outscaled by Ezreal. They're pretty, Ezreal gets pretty good, but so does Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa gets out of control. LeBlanc's, I mean, once she gets to certain items, she's always going to be. That's rough. Yeah, that puts them so far behind. I mean, he's up 10 CS, but that's going to get caught up right now. How does that happen? So he's clearing the ward. Got river ward. It just disappeared. Like, that's where Wonder's got to know. Like, you just cleared the river. Like, the river ward just disappeared. Jankos can't protect you in this. You lose a 2v2. Jankos isn't coming anyways. Yeah. Wonder could have walked right back out this way. I mean, he has no CC. There's nothing he could have done about it. Uncommon mistakes from G2, I think. While TL's playing pretty well. Especially their vision game. Their vision's been really on point this whole entire game. They've controlled the areas they want to move to. They've set those areas up before they got there. Anyone's set up for it when they have an early lead. I mean, water's wet, sky is blue. It's actually really good by Jankos not using his flash there. I think a lot of junglers might have gone hardcore for that, especially after the split. I mean, he is level 8. Like, he could have gone for that. Oh, Caps. What are you doing, dude? G2's aggression's like really low. Usually they would have gone for a lot of this stuff and just kind of trade. Like in this meta right now, I think IG is embodying it. IG's really good just in general. It's not so much the meta, like the meta in the sense of the champions they play. I'll watch this replay. He teleports in and he's just gonna dive him. Jankos doesn't have E. Or, yeah, burrowed E yet. Ooh, yikes. They just got outplayed. But in this... This isn't really like a meta, it's just how the game is right now. With all the catch-up mechanics, the jungle XP changes and stuff like that. Like, IG, you see them consistently get down, like, not consistently, but they get down early. But if you ever look up at the top, like right now, we've seen IG down 4-1, if not more, a couple times. At one point they were down like 5-0, but they're never down that much gold. You know what I mean? They're never down like 3,000 gold. This is closing in on 3,000 gold right now. They're always down like 1,500 gold, stuff like that, because they farm like mad. They don't miss CS. They keep their waves pushed. They get tower plates. But the thing is too, they know they outskill people, so it's okay for them to take risks early because they're not that big of a deal, because they're going to get their kills and they're going to get that gold back. And IG just embodies that that kind of decision making, where they're not making the decision so much as they're letting the actual game dictate how you're supposed to be playing. They're not just adhering to the meta or learning the meta quickly. They're actually embracing the whole entire like mechanics of the game, and I think that's an interesting difference right now. And I think it's one of the things that SKT has struggled with. Even though they play a little bit slower, very methodical, they don't make a lot of mistakes. This meta isn't the best for that. You know, it's much more snowbally, and to get back in the games, it's not about just kind of like farming and hanging out. It's about like if you're down a little bit, just keep fighting. Just keep fighting, keep skirmishing, keep going for towers, keep going for objectives, because that's how you get back in the game. And then if it doesn't work, I mean, I don't know. I just the leads don't blow up that fast because of the comeback mechanics. Yep. No one can really deal with impact now in a lane, or at least can't 1v1 him. You can either get away or just win. Team Liquid just has such good vision all through their jungles. This is all the deep vision G2 has right now. It's just two wards down there. It's an interesting face check. Oh, Jen's taking a lot of damage. They'd have to be really far ahead to chase that. Eh, I mean, their poke's going to be fairly ineffective in those situations. Impact can just stand at the front of the siege and just take a bunch of the poke and just hell steal it right back. It's not really effective for them. It's gonna be a tower dive. Oh. Yep. It's a really nice play by Jensen. Got an early lead. Smithy was in lanes, like doing things. And Team Liquid's one of their major problems has been just Smithy has not been. It's not that he's even been playing bad. You can't say like, oh, he's made a bunch of mistakes and he hasn't been doing like unless you want to count that as a mistake. But he's just been ineffective as a jungler, just completely not even playing the game sometimes. So they leave Impact on an island a lot, which is kind of how they play. They try to play through bot lane, and they went through caps this game. I think if you're playing against G2, that's the member you have to go after. For all his talent and everything, I think if one of the probably statistically highest chances of beating G2 is beating them through caps. He doesn't seem to play great when he gets behind early. Or sometimes he gets even more aggressive, like this game. He just dove him under tower there. But it doesn't. It seems like it affects his decision making a little bit. I don't think it ruins him or any of that stuff. If you're gonna go after G2, I think the best way to attack them is to attack them through mid lane. Because if you can put caps behind, I think that affects the whole entire team. I don't think it bothers Wonder as much. Doesn't seem like it, at least. He's not behind a lot of times either. It definitely doesn't bother Jankos. Again, he's another one, though, who isn't usually behind. He's usually at least even. I mean, the nickname First Blood King doesn't come from nowhere. He definitely has a talent for that. Perks and Mickey have been good down bot. They're fine down there, but I mean, mentally, I don't think them being slightly behind puts them into a situation where they want to make a bunch of different decisions or poor decisions or anything, or just get a little tilted. I think Caps is tiltable, though, and I think a couple teams have shown that. And it's not like I don't mean tiltable like off the face of the earth, like he's just gone. But this right here, I mean, it's things like that. It's just not understanding power spikes, maybe not understanding what you can and can't outplay. I think he has utmost confidence in his abilities, and sometimes he just kind of takes that solo queue mentality, like, well, I just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna end up catching up in the game by getting a bunch of kills or outplaying people. I want them to show that again. I don't even know how that starts. Like, how does Xmithy get onto him in that situation? Like, how does that even become a thing? Come on, show the replay. So he has no vision. He's backing. He's just going to jump on you. Yeah, like this. He knows better than this. This is a nice play by Xmithy sitting on a pink ward just waiting right here. But Caps knows better than that. I don't think you see him make that mistake if he's even or something. No flash. I mean, you can't face check that. You can't face check that area. Oh and 5. But that's set up by Team Liquid. It's set up top lane. They got into that bush. Set up much before that, and then set the pink ward down. Now they're just clearing vision around. I mean, G2 can't fight for Baron at all. They have one kill. It's on Jankos. Israel hasn't even been able to get in the game really. There's not much they can do here. Team Liquid plays it right. I don't think there's really any chance for G2 to get back in the game unless Team Liquid makes some huge mistakes. That's not going to be one. Like, you don't win that fight. Jankos is on Jensen, though, but you still don't win that fight. Oh. If you're Caps, though, you have to go for that. You're down so much gold at this point. Like, you don't have a choice. You have to go for that. He gets a triple kill there. Might pull him right back into the game. Double FTP and back in. Perks doesn't have TP. That's game. Yeah, I'm surprised they started this. Perk's top lane. Or Caps is top lane. Here he comes, though. I mean, you know Vlad's coming now, though. It's a nice play by Caps. Oof. Yeah, they're just getting choked out at this point. Not much they can do about it. I don't know. G2, the second half of this round robin has looked a little off. Again, though, we talked about it before. There's pretty much no world where G2's not playing SKT in the next round. Like, IG's not going to pick G2. They're not going to, they're not going to pick SKT. They're going to pick the fourth place team no matter what. Because now we know it's Team Liquid, but at the time it could have only been two teams, so. Oh, double lift. Just diving him. He's really going to have to step it up if they want a chance to get having a decent series against IG. There's a 0% chance they win that series, but I mean, they could at least take a game or two off them. Be nice to see. What a stall by Impact right here. He's so far ahead. That's Vlad, though. What a champ. Good stun by Wonder. The W? Yep. Bam. See ya. That's so far ahead. Playing this a little slow. I'm surprised they didn't group up and take that bot inhib. I mean, G2 can't fight him right now. So. But I understand being a little bit careful in this situation. G2's pretty talented. You don't want to make a mistake and give them a chance. Even if G2 wins a team fight right now, though, I don't think it gets them back in the game. Impact can just stay up at the head of the poke. Or they just dive him. Damn. That was a really good early game by Team Liquid. I mean, you get to see some of that too. I mean, Smithy just needs to be somewhat more. It's what I was talking about earlier with IG. And one of the, I mean, they're obviously super talented, so they can get away with a lot of that stuff. But I think with Team Liquid, they play so carefully because in their region they're the more talented team than anyone else. So I think someone like Smithy can get in that mode where he doesn't need to be aggressive early because they know they're going to out talent people in skirmishes and then in team fights. But on the international stage, that's not the situation. And he doesn't seem to clam. I don't think it's clamming up. I don't think it's like nerves, like, oh, I'm not sure of myself. I think that's just their play style at home. So when they get to the international stage, they try it and it doesn't work. In this game, it really seems like finally someone said, look, we can't play like that. Like, we have to be somewhat aggressive. We have to go after some of this stuff. You know, like, we got to get in there because you saw it in this game. And I think they, like I said, recognized that if you're going to go after G2, I think maybe the best way to do that is to go through mid lane. And their shoe game's on point too. So, I mean, they got that going for them. Except Impact needs to tie that thing. Going after Impact, I think going after Caps, I think is your best bet if you're playing G2. Unless you can just out talent them at every position, which I think IG can do sometimes. And for the most part, I think that's one of the reasons G2 has so much trouble against someone like IG, and there's a decent chance we're going to see that as the finals matchup. But IG will press someone like Caps, like they will press him if they find any little bit of weakness. They're going to go after that person. And again, I don't think it's weakness, so to speak. I think it's part of his game. When he gets a little bit behind, he gets hyper aggressive and wants to turn it around. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's just how he's played for so long. If it's a situation where, you know, when he was with Fnatic, he had such a good AD carry on his team that it was kind of okay to get hyper aggressive. Like, Broxa was playing really well when he was with him, so that might have been part of the situation where he can get hyper aggressive and then the rest of the team can kind of bring it back for him. But that's who I'm attacking if I'm going against G2. But it's a dangerous game too because he's a very good player, and if those fail and he gets ahead, he's very good at imposing his will on people. So, but they have a big series coming up with SKT. I know they beat him twice in the group stage. I think that's all out the window at this point, though. I think the best of 5 is a completely different thing. So, but good to Team Liquid. They looked a lot better in this game. It's unfortunate their next series is going to have to be against IG. They're just going to get outclassed at every position in that game. So I think their only hope is if they play hyper aggressive and press those leads. People have shown that you can get hyper aggressive with IG and they will reciprocate in kind. So if you can win those early things, but you got to get stuff out of it. A lot of the teams that have been doing it, it's almost like they're shell shocked that they're up 6 or 7 kills on IG. They're like, oh my god, you know, we can play with these guys, and they don't realize like they're not really that much gold. They perceive their power to be a lot higher than it is, and then IG just stomps them in a skirmish or wins a big team fight or takes objectives under their noses and stuff, and then gets right back in the game and then ends up running the game over. So interesting game, but glad TL moved on so we get to see him in the knockout stages.